this is ZeN TV. Now they say that for suicide, it's a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Chevalier, tell us more.
Yeah, pretty sad one this. So it was a student, I believe, Telford, and I think he had some problems with his girlfriend. He stood on a building, threatening to commit suicide. The sad part is there were reportedly students were goading him to jump, and he jumped. Whilst jumping, and obviously when he landed, people were taking pictures with their mobile phones, videoing it, stuff like that. Again, in my job, I kind of teach a little bit about suicide, and we talk about a thing called second level messages. So usually if somebody is threatening to do something, they're not actually going to do it. And the second level message is stop me, help me. So him standing there, that was probably his message. Now the fact that nobody did that and he jumped, because the way that you should respond to it is by telling them don't do it.
Yeah.
Well, these people actually did the opposite and told him do it. So he probably thought, I'll do it. Why
do you think they were like goading him when he was in such a dark place?
I just think the youth of today are desensitized to this whole, dying thing.
Do you think people with their mobile phones recording things, thinking this will be great on Facebook, great on Twitter, do you think that has anything to do with it?
I think that's twisted.
But I think it's a natural. I'm not gonna say that everyone who had their phones out horrible people. I just think that's how they've grown up. I think when something is going on, the natural tendency now is to pull your phone out, and if I didn't record it, it didn't happen. I just think it's a conditioning that our young people have grown up with. And because I've got kids myself, I know how it is. If they're doing something stupid, it didn't happen unless they're recording it, And me, luckily, I can threaten my son. You record me, I'm cancelling your contract. But usually it records everything. That's just part of society. However, I feel that they have been desensitized when it comes to things like people dying, the seriousness of somebody jumping on. He wanted help. That was his cry for help, and that cry for help didn't come because people were more interested in recording him. So it's pretty sad. I'm not going to say though that years ago, before mobile phones, maybe they would have goaded him as well. It just wouldn't have been recorded, My thing is the value of a human life. The fact that he's up there ready to jump off and everyone should have been doing the opposite. No, everyone should have been doing that. They didn't. Are we valuing human life as much now? Or is it less and less now?
There was an onlooker who watched it, and she was disgusted, as he would be, by this sort of attitude of people and the way they were responding to this. A similar incident happened in Derby as well, where somebody jumped from the Westfield Centre, and they after the incident happened, they decided to put fencing up so it would make it more difficult. But the same thing happened then. Young kids were out on a Saturday with their mobile phones, taunting the person to come down and jump. And I just thought that's really twisted. But as I say, in the Telford incident, one of the onlookers was really, really upset with it, as you can imagine, and created an e-petition to say that the people that are goading are culpable to the death of this person and should be charged accordingly. There needs to be a reform in the law, because how can you sit in a civil society, which is what we're supposed to be living in, where people can say to people, horrific words like that when a person's at the point of desperation, and then to goad that person to jump, because the message that person's getting standing up there at higher.
Pay attention to me, help me.
Yeah.
I've got a problem.
But the message is saying the world's telling
me. But the message the world's giving.
The world's giving the message, you're worth nothing.
Yeah.
Jump.
Give us something to look at for a few seconds.
Let me film something so I can stick it on Facebook. And that's a twisted thing. And I think, I really hope that the public reacts to that the way they reacted to the Jeremy Clarkson incident, because they managed to get 1 million signatures for that. And this, I think, has only got about, the last time I saw it was about 10,000 signatures. But I urge people to sign up to this, because that sort of behaviour needs to stop in a civil society that we're supposed to be living in.
I mean, you're spot on. I mean, listening to the stories, first time I've heard it, and I can't believe it. When I look at life, I remember when my daughter was born, 1999, and she's in hospital, and I got a text message saying, "Congratulations, you are the proud father of a 1 pound, 12-ounce baby." And I thought, this is the days of when texting was just new. So you thought that the hospital had put the decimal point in the wrong place. So you thought it was £11 basting turkey. you know. So I get there and I see this little thing, just arms and legs moving, mouth moving, and it looks like she's crying, but there's no sound coming out because the vocal cords aren't formed.
Yeah.
So life is precious. And I remember most doctors were saying, you know, it's 50-50. She doesn't look like she's going to really got a good fighting chance. And I remember getting people to pray. Not because it was just my baby, but because it's my baby. Yeah. Right? And the minute she survived, what I did, I made sure that so many other people was helping to raise her. So they became godparents, enough people. Now the point I'm trying to make is, when you bring a child up in this world, you should never let them feel that they're alone. You should never let them feel. You should never let them feel that they have to go to a mob for their solution to their life. Because a mob doesn't really care about a child, a person, an individual. You know, and the so-called mob that was shouting and whatever, I don't mean anything, no harm on them, but I really hope one day that they wake up and realise their actions in the actions of this young man. And I hope that it triggers them to become better people, because that is despicable. That's terrible.
I read a story actually in the week of almost the opposite. I think it was correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was a 79 or 89-year-old man who lived on a beachfront.
Yes.
And he'd stopped.
Yes.
I think
a lot of people
yeah.
were jumping off. Yeah.
Because he'd gone out and spoke to them, and you know, just trying to support them, because he knew obviously that was a point where people do jump off.
Yes.
And a fantastic story.
Yeah, that was an amazing story. And you know, again, how did he save their lives? With tea. You see, you know, come in for a cup of tea. And I love about the British, you know, no matter how bad your problem is.
The kettle on.
Yeah.
Kettle on.
That's right.
So,
all right.
Tea,
yeah, true.
Yeah.
So, you know, that shows you the power of talking. You know, we don't have to tell people, look, you know what, your problem is that bad. I wouldn't really offer you a cup of tea. I'd say go and jump, you know, because it's not going to get any better tomorrow. But all the best. Can I have your shoes? But that is the wrong attitude. What we have to really be more concerned about is everybody is our brother and sister. Yeah. And we should really care. It's that song by the group, I can't name of the group, but it said, I think it's the Everly Brothers, he's not heavy.
He's my brother.
Yeah, there you are.
I want to move on then, G, with your story, that hospices were first designed to provide end-of-life care. They've actually become much more brink of death care.
Yes.
Tell us about this.
I remember, you know, this is about 20 years ago, I was working in a hospice, Macmillan, based in Derby. And I wanted to be a volunteer because I'd never seen anybody die, neither had I lost anybody.
That's why you wanted to volunteer?
Yes, because I wanted to see how people went through grief.
Oh.
I'd never been through grief before. I didn't know what it meant and felt like. And here we are, 28 years later, I still don't know what it feels like, apart from seeing it from somebody's perspective.
Yeah.
So, you know, you'd go round and you would make the teas and stuff like that. Again, that miracle, powerful thing called tea. And you would offer it to people. And I noticed something, right? And I thought to myself, this doesn't work. I'll tell you why I don't think it works. So imagine to yourself, right? My young sir is sitting there and he's in his hospital bed. And then he's got somebody else sitting next to him in his hospital bed. And you've got you sitting in your hospital bed. So you all three are in a row, kind of thing. And you chill and you chat, and you talk about what you can do tomorrow. And then it's lights out, you took the lights off and you go to sleep. Then, through the night, the doctors come through and they put something around this young man. And you wake up and go, what's happening over there? Then you see you being wheeled out in a body bag. Now, how do you think that affects your psyche? Your psyche? You see? Because you immediately you're going to feel, oh dear. Yeah, who's next? So, you know, and then there's a room, a specially prepared room, and inside there is a gurney and body bags, right? So if I was living there and looking, you know, that, you know, they're going to make me well, I think, well, there's no plan to make me well.
But apparently most people who are referred to hospices are actually just the 2 weeks, they die within 2 weeks.
Yes, well, if you didn't have no plans to die within 2 weeks, once you see your friends around you dying, it's going to suck your energy. It's like an inevitability. Now, you go back in, you know, the time of the, you know, the trenches. If you had to step over the trench and face the enemy, and the minute you stepped over and you saw your friend go pinned back and gone, you know, if I continue to climb, the likelihood is I'm going to die. That doesn't stop you from climbing. In my case, I would have to go and tie my shoelace. You know what I mean? And I've got long legs. You know what I mean? It could take all of 4 weeks. You know what I mean? But you would know that it's only an inevitability. Whereas I think if in a hospice, it's the same thing. You know that he's just passed away, she just passed away. It is an inevitability. And I think what they've got to do in these hospices is actually treat the individual like an individual. Make them feel that we're going to do all that we can to make your days wonderful. And if it is terminal, and they do know it's terminal as well, the patient does know, you make their dreams come true. Yeah. That's what I would do. You know, I'd get an organisation like ZeN in and say, look, this person, you know, needs someone to talk to or read a book to them or whatever, or they need to travel to go to a certain place. We would provide things like that. And there must be other people around the country that will attach themselves to hospices and help. Because
they did it in Holland, didn't they? People that were dying, and one of the women had a last wish. She goes, I want to go to the Rembrandt Museum. So they took her in a hospital bed with all the equipment and everything, so she could just go for the Rembrandt Museum.
Fantastic. I mean, when you think about it, it doesn't cost much to help. No? 9 times out of 10, when you're talking about helping somebody, we think, oh, it's too hard. What is hard? You know, helping is quite basic. If you think to yourself, right, you think of any issue you could think of, even down to a person who's terminally ill, you can still help. It's all about how much you care. That's right. You see, and once we care, it happens. Yeah.
Let's move on then, Cal.
Hello.
To your story.
Which one?
Barbie dolls we're talking.
Okay. Yeah. I love playing with Barbie dolls. Yes, it's the introduction of a new Barbie. Which is
everybody's thinking, why Cal?
And then everybody's thinking, why Cal are you talking about Barbie dolls? Yes. Because I grew up with 6 sisters.
There you are.
They all played with dolls, and so did I.
That's right.
But the new one's quite a different Barbie doll. It's a Barbie doll that is linked via Wi-Fi to a cloud, to a sort of iCloud.
Hi Barbie, welcome to New York Toy Fair.
I love New York, don't you? Tell me, what's your favorite part about the city? The food, the fashion, or the sights?
So what's your favorite part about New York? The food, the fashion, or the sights?
The sights.
The sights. Barbie, we love walking around the city and seeing the sights.
There are so many wonderful places to see. Do you have a favorite?
New York?
The Javits Center.
Barbie, we love the Javits Center. We've not spent enough time.
I'm not sure I've been there. You'll have to take me.
She might be confused.
You're here.
But as you can see, using speech recognition technology, Barbie can understand what I'm saying, but she can not only understand it, but she remembers it. And she builds on that knowledge over time and introduces those phrases into our future conversations. Barbie, we're here on stage today to tell all these lovely people how amazing you are.
Being on stage is exciting, isn't it?
Yes, I love it.
That's cool. I didn't know that about you. I like to be on stage too.
So here you can see she listens to things I say and she'll remember that I like being on stage. So if I ask her, Barbie, what should I be when I grow up?
Well, you told me you like being on stage, so maybe a dancer? Or a politician? Or how about a dancing politician? I always say, anything is possible.
Absolutely, it's true. So like a real friend, Barbie can talk and have discussions and learn about the girls' likes and dislikes. So Barbie's talking about New York because we're here at Toy Fair, but in her final stage she'll be able to talk about a variety of different topics that are relevant to girls. And again, the most important thing is that we're able to update that content in nearly real time and being able to respond to any relevant trends or news that girls want to talk about. She'll be able to learn about the girls' likes and dislikes and be able to adapt to them over time. And also one of the best parts is that the content is updatable, so it's all stored in the cloud and we continuously can update and push it down to the doll to make sure it's always relevant and talking about themes that girls love.
It's amazing.
The problem is that information has been sitting in the cloud storing, so a child could ask anything, couldn't they, really? Literally. And it's not just going to be the child, is it? Because even when you're engaging, or it'll be like the smart TVs, they're constantly recording. So they're taking your information. A mother could walk into the room and just say something to her husband, and if the Barbie doll's active, it goes up there.
Because I understand it's using Wi-Fi and speech recognition technology, so it's instantaneous. There's a video link that we can put on as well. It shows you can ask a question. Barbie, it's called Hello Barbie, thinks about it for 2 or 3 seconds and comes back with a response about anything. And there's actually even question of that, is it even legal to record a child's voice legally.
What does Barbie say?
Barbie said, let me think about that when I get back to you.
It's a Trojan horse, isn't it? It's a Trojan horse, basically.
The title is You Can Brush Your Hair, Surveillance Everywhere. And it says, under the Children's Online Privacy Act, which became law in April 2000, sets out strict rules for obtaining information from minors online. And this obviously falls into that category. But it's not being really enforced. Now, Barbie, I don't think it's Mattel that make them, I'm not 100% sure. Yeah. It's not, it's like it's a small organisation that's making it. So we've got to understand why is this happening and why is it being allowed to happen as well? The storing of information again.
Is it actually coming out?
Yeah,
definitely.
It's coming out.
Yeah.
So obviously, it's a wolf in sheep's clothing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Obviously, they've done this to get another way of getting information about us. We've all got phones, we've all got computers, laptops, so I don't know why they would need poor little Barbie now, that I used to have a little respect for, to also get the information. But sadly, that's the way that the world is going. And if you got a daughter, why would you want her to be talking to the dog? Why would you want her to be talking to you instead? Yeah. You know, and why would you want her to be using her imagination rather than asking a computer? Imagination is 100 million times more vast than Google.
Talking of Google, I wonder if we can get a zoom in on Rag's t-shirt. Just your t-shirt, Rags. Just your t-shirt.
Rags don't like camera.
Can we not do is just his t-shirt?
We'll put it up later. We'll take a picture and show you later.
Yeah.
It's pretty sad though, isn't it? That you know, again. But I think it's going to be more and more apparent. It's going to be more prevalent. Yeah, it's not going to just be Barbie. They'll probably have it. Yeah, they'll probably have it in
Hello,
poor old Ken. My favourite was the action man with the eyes.
They were. Left and right. Eyes, bro.
That's all he did then.
You're probably going to have someone really looking.
Yeah.
So you know, sadly, it's the way of the world. Technology is a gift and a curse. You know, it's a gift and a curse. So you have to be aware of what you're letting into your household. At the end of the day, it's still going to be the parents' choice. Yeah. So you can't moan when everything's been recorded if you went and bought the Barbie. You know, keep it old school. Get on eBay, get one of the old 70s, 80s.
Monopoly.
Get one of the old school Barbies.
That's
you know,
right.
You know. At the end of the day, it's still our informed choice.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they've been recording this for years on other devices we don't know about. You know?
Chef G. Cal. Great points. Continue.